Today, more than ever, Americans are a society on the move. In fact, we're so busy, few of us take time to notice how our stress, chronic aches and pains, and even our poor posture are affecting our productivity and overall well-being. Most often, we count on medicine, health and fitness programs, and proper nutrition to combat these nagging complaints. Indeed, they each play a vital role. Yet, why do our necks and backs continue to ache? Why are we drained of energy after normal activity? Why is it that many mornings it would be easier just to stay in bed? It's gravity. One individual may experience the losing fight with gravity as a sharp pain in the back, another as the unflattering contour of the body, another as constant fatigue, and yet another as an unrelentingly threatening environment. Those over 40 may call it old age, yet all those signals may be pointing to a single problem, so prominent in their own structure and in the structures of others that it has been ignored. They are off balance. They are all at war with gravity. Over 40 years ago, out of a deep concern for family health problems, Dr. Ida P. Rolf began to investigate the effects of gravity on our bodies and our functions. She discovered that up to that point in time, humans had always developed and still live within the gravitational pull of the Earth. The energy of this field can enhance or dissipate the energy of an individual. Although one cannot change the energy field, one can change the person. So she designed a technique, which was appropriately called Rolfing, in which she actually stretched and separated muscles and connective tissue, or fascia, which had become chronically shortened or stuck together, and which pulled the body out of its optimal alignment. Today, Dr. Rolf's work continues. Robert Toporek, a certified advanced Rolf practitioner and the founder of Gravity Services in Philadelphia, has taken it a step further.
Initially, it started with a fellowship from the Ford Foundation to study methods and techniques of personal growth and its relationship to public education. It extended from there to study of Gestalt therapy, encounter group, sensitivity training, massage, meditation. I've studied other forms of personal growth such as EST, Insight, LifeSpring, Silver Mind Control. I've read extensively. I've studied anatomy and physiology. I've studied dissection. And I probably more specifically, I studied with the founder of Rolfing, Dr. Ida P. Rolf, for over 4 years.
Over the last 11 years, Toporek has taken Dr. Rolf's study of gravity and its relationship to human structures and has applied it to a wide range of people. Today, we will focus on 3 of those categories: people with chronic aches and pains, babies and children, primarily those with special concerns, and people with poor posture. Though Toporek's work is of yet not widely known as a therapy or a method for improving one's overall well-being, his research and the course he's developed called The Structure of Being is virtually a breakthrough for medicine, education, psychology, and humanity itself. It expands on what Ida Rolf was quoted as saying, "New times, they say, require new remedies. New times also demand and consequently receive new forms, new ideas, perhaps a new man." One of the pregnant ideas of this decade is that human behavior is basically an outward and visible functional response of structural organization or the lack thereof.
Each human being has a physical structure, and that structure actually defines who they are, what they're capable of, how they express themselves. And so the course, The Structure of Being, examines the possibility that this work is in relationship to what someone wants to produce in life.
No matter what age you are, when you suffer from chronic aches and pains, your ability to produce results and live a full and active life is greatly restricted. Many people feel the strain from their aching necks and backs while on the job or taking care of their children, while others are afflicted by these common complaints while doing something seemingly as simple as climbing the stairs or bending over. In his research, Toporek has uncovered that what has traditionally been accepted as inevitable can now be either dramatically reduced or completely eliminated.
I'm Georgia O'Connell, and I'm here because I want to get rid of all this pain, if possible.
And just tell me what pain you've got.
In my knees, mainly. Both of them. And that affects everything else. It's hard to walk. I'm 77 years of age, and I have been Rolfed, and my frozen shoulder has been helped tremendously. I couldn't raise it at all, and now I can get it up over my head. If you want me to demonstrate it, I will. There, how's that? Isn't that wonderful? I feel much younger than my 77 years, and I don't hurt the way I used to.
Well, say a little bit more about that.
Well, it's wonderful not to have a lot of aches and pains that seem to come with age. And you've obliterated those aches and pains for me. And I'm able to carry on much better than I was before.
Okay.
And I think I've helped other people and given them the courage to try and to work with you to improve their lives.
I had been a weightlifter for almost 20 years, and my body was almost solid granite. When I walked around, I experienced myself like that. That's the way I felt I was all the time. And I was pretty straight, but I had those feelings. For me, Rolfing was actually the freedom to just be there, to just be standing or sitting or moving around without an experience of this. In fact, without even being able to feel my body, my chest or my shoulders or my legs. Being loose and light. Actually, Rolfing shifted the condition in my life for me from actually experiencing aging each year. Each year I felt a little older, a little bit more sore, to having no experience of age at all. No experience of my body changing and actually feeling looser and lighter than I had any recollection of ever being.
Basically, the reason why I wanted to come is because I've had problems with my back lower back since I was like 13 years old. I've got a birth defect called sacralization of the lower lumbar, and my body tries to compensate for it when my pelvis goes out, and I have problems with my knees. My feet have no arches, which affects my knees. I always have a lot of tension in my shoulders and my neck, and I'm hoping for some relief from pain that I'm in all the time since I've been 13. I came here with lower back pains, chronic problems, and they have lessened a great deal. I seem to have more energy, I seem to sleep better and not need as much sleep. Cosmetically, the effects have been terrific. I now have a neck and a waistline. And more than anything, I realized how much my posture had to do with my attitudes.
What we do when someone comes for their first gravity consultation is first they fill out some paperwork, a consent form, a release form. We have them draw a picture of themselves. We have them answer some questions. We find out whether they have any chronic medical problems, whether they've had any chronic health problems, whether they've had any traumatic experiences in their life. Then after that, we talk to them about their own body, what they experience, what they hope for, what they want to see happen. We talk to them about their relationship with their family. What's their relationship with their family? Because that has a lot to do with how a person is in their body oftentimes. After that, we videotape and photograph each person that we work with. Show them the videotape and the photograph so they can begin to understand how their body's structured. And oftentimes we find that people don't really experience how bad gravity has begun to affect them. After that, they lie down, they put on a bathing suit or gym shorts, and they lie down, and I begin to work on their bodies, stretching and separating muscles and connective tissue as they've stuck together or chronically shortened. And as I'm working on each part of a person's body, we begin to have a conversation about what that means and what each session does and why I work on particular things.
I'm 47 years old, and I'm here to improve my posture, to get my tissues aligned properly, and to have hopefully a process that will eliminate from my body any old negative emotions or trauma. I feel great. I feel really great. I feel like I've had a big weight lifted off of me, I see that there's an old identity that that I am now aware of, and that there's me in the present. And I want to be more in the present than I was before. Too much of my life before was maintaining that facade of I'm okay, and I'm going to make it okay, and yet working within a structure that didn't allow me to be okay. So I'm now, have a different, I have an awareness now of my body in relationship to gravity that I never had before.
I have a scoliosis, a severe S-curve that's been evident since I was 14 years old. It has never really bothered me physically until the last few years. In the last few years, I feel that it's pressing on my organs. When I wake up in the morning, I sometimes feel that my organs are pressed together, and I would really like to see if this helps. And I would certainly like to be standing up straighter. I'm totally in awe of what it's done. I still have a scoliosis that, of course, can't be taken away because it's bone deformation. But I have definite delineation down my back now that apparently wasn't evident before, and I wasn't aware of it. What I was aware of was the pain that it was starting to cause, because a scoliosis does get worse through the years. I no longer wake up with that pain, and I don't have the same pain.
Since I've been Rolfed, I feel a lot freer in my motions, and I feel like I have more energy. I feel stronger. My lower back doesn't tighten up anymore. I don't wake up in pain like I used to.
The common thread among all these cases is obvious. Each person's body was off balance, and they experienced being off balance as some form of distress in their body that reached far into their lives as well. What's not so obvious is that each person, whether newborn or 80 years old, lives within the Earth's gravitational field. This field is to humans like water is to fish. Humans are so intimately related to gravity that they seldom, if ever, appreciate that such a relationship exists. And they are even more unaware of gravity's effects on babies and children. In his search for answers to many of the complaints his older clients were having, Toporek went back to the beginning of human beings' relationship with gravity, at birth, and created the opportunity for babies and children to benefit from his work. Toporek discovered that gravity consultations could tremendously impact babies and children before they added years of emotional and physical traumas to their bodies. Traumas which would ultimately impact every aspect of their lives. As William Steig says in the preface to Wilhelm Reich's book, Children of the Future, how do babies, those beautiful, guileless creatures of joy, develop into us? Insecure, self-involved people incapable of living together in harmony, with ambitions to become unusually wealthy, or terribly clever, or enviably beautiful, or world famous for some reason or other, and hoping our children will not turn out like us.
The reason that I had Stephen Rolfed in the first place was because that I believe that whatever you can do to give them a head start is a positive thing, and that especially with a baby where they're still crunched up, and we started his Rolfing when he was very, very young, or having him Rolfed, and I think that just having him evolve from a crunched up little ball into this human being that's fully aware of his body and has an even disposition and seems to have a real sense of himself and be well balanced, it's been worth it. And I do see results. I just think that perhaps there was not, I mean, obviously there was nothing wrong. It was a perfectly healthy, happy baby. But that having him Rolfed even gives him a better start in this lifetime.
The Philadelphia Children's Project is a project that I began actually as a result of my work with children. And I began to notice that not only did their bodies change, but their whole lives began to evolve. And I began to notice that no one had ever noticed that a child's relationship with gravity played an important part in their development and their behavior and their productivity. and that there needed to be a project that studied and reported the results of this work.
What it was like for me was an experience to confront barriers and clear them up, specifically barriers that I set up, physical barriers, dealing with emotion, pressure, strain, commitment, things like that, and getting to see what I really am and what my body really is, and just to open myself up and let things be the way they are.
After Toporek had established the benefits of his work for people with normal, everyday complaints, he took his work further. He began working with a group of people who have special concerns, like cerebral palsy, brain injury, microcephaly, and spina bifida. Some of these people have literally searched for years to discover ways to improve these special conditions. Before working with Robert, these people had tried traditional means of treatment, and through their courageousness, continued to fight to overcome and master their unique concerns, so that they would have a greater possibility for a full and vital life. The following case studies are of people who live with brain injury, cerebral palsy, and other exceptional conditions. These are people who have been committed to living beyond normal and acceptable paths of action, and are now experiencing new possibilities for their lives.
This is Robbie, my son, and he had a near drowning accident about 3 years ago. It's 1982. He's been slowly recovering, and my husband had heard about this over the radio. So we're going to give this a try. And the hopes are for Robbie's posture to be corrected. I'm hoping that it would relax him so that he would be able to have better movement and control over exactly what he wants to do and what his brain is telling him. Because I know he's in there, it's just getting him. We gave it a try, and this is what we have so far. A lot more movement. A lot more on the inside also. Robbie's more alert, can move around even a little better. It seems to me we should start branching out and helping each other, because the children are the ones that are at stake here. And it doesn't really matter who's right and who's wrong. If it works for somebody, it could work for anybody.
Karen has a problem. We were told that her brain has stopped growing along with her head, and she's not developing. She's 15 months old. She doesn't crawl. She doesn't walk. She just basically just rolls over. And our doctor, after going to see him a few times and everything, we're to the point where we wanted something to be done now. You know, we just don't feel that. You know, we feel that she should be doing something, and she's not. So he recommended us to try Rolfing. This is our 14th session with Karen, and Karen has come quite a long way. She's a totally different baby than when we first started. The difficulty of having a child with a problem and working with her, or the child, okay, in our case it's Karen, okay, is that you really don't get, you don't know where to turn, okay, you just don't know what to do. You have friends that say, oh, that's a shame, or this and that, they feel sorry for you, but they really can't help you either. And it's not an easy thing, but as I said, just being the type of people we are, we're just not going to sit back and let a baby who we think has a lot of potential just lay there. We know that Karen has a problem, but we also know that Karen's problem can be fixed or mended, whatever you want to call it, and that's what we're going to do. I've said it to my friends, I don't care where I have to go, I don't care if it's in Philadelphia, I don't care if it's New York, Washington, or California, I'll go wherever I have to go for this baby, and we'll do whatever we have to do. I'm not worried about our financial situation, because that's not my concern. My concern is our daughter. Our daughter has a problem, and we feel that our daughter can make it if she gets the help that she needs.
He's got cerebral palsy. He's been born with it since birth. And he has very spastic muscles. He can't sit up or walk or anything. And his muscles are very stiff. He's not flexible or anything.
Not flexible at all.
No. He has to wear braces, night braces, to sleep in, because he had surgery. His legs were scissoring, and he had surgery in his groin over here to loosen them.
Relax. You're showing him you could do this. He didn't see you do this before. Relax.
I never saw you sit up before.
Now show him and don't laugh. Whatever it says, don't laugh, all right? Don't laugh. Don't laugh or you're going to fall. You want to fall down? I'm not holding you.
No. So, what do you think about it?
I think it's pretty terrific. What do you think about it?
So I couldn't do this before I come here.
I couldn't do this before I come here.
And I'm happy about it.
And I'm happy about it.
When she first started Rolfing, she could barely stand on her own at all. Her legs and her feet were terribly twisted. She was very, very tight, the muscles were. She was spasmodic all the time. She couldn't walk at all without the assistance of someone, not just something, someone. She had very little balance with or without braces. Since then, she can walk she walks independently with braces and crutches. She can also walk without them to a certain degree. Her balance has improved dramatically. Her legs and feet are much, much straighter. It used to be her feet were always pointed down. She wouldn't bend her ankles. Now she stands flat-footed. She keeps her heels down. She looks a lot better when she's walking. Her body's just more in line. It's more graceful. It's a more natural movement. Her attitude is very good, and I'm just amazed, just amazed.
As you've just seen, gravity consultations benefit people with chronic aches and pains, as well as babies and children, even those with special concerns. But what about poor posture? One of the areas in which gravity consultations is most effective is poor posture. In fact, not only does one's posture dramatically improve, but one's productivity, self-expression, confidence, and overall well-being improves. The results are invaluable.
The way working on someone's body alters their life is that life shows up in your body and your body shows up in life. So that if you're always standing with tension, if you're always standing stooped over, if you're always standing with a lack of confidence, if you're always standing sort of like with an angry stance or a timid stance or something like that, then this work not only alters that, but then you begin to show up as confident and feeling good about yourself and open and things like that. So it really does have a huge impact in your life.
I feel better about myself, about my posture. I have a tremendous amount of aches and pains starting from my neck all the way down to my legs, and I'm here to have those relieved permanently, hopefully. And I need a lot of more self-confidence about my body. I tend to slouch over, I have rounded shoulders, my head sticks out. And I know this, and I know other people know this, and if I can feel better about myself, then most people will feel better about me, knowing by looking at me that I'm a self-confident person. This is my 5th session. I just had my 5th session, and the consultations that I've been getting have made a remarkable change in my life. I feel more confident about myself. Any kind of pains that I have is always diminished by the next time that I come. So that every session that Robert works on, I know it's going to take the pain that I have away. And the confidence that I have is just like really outstanding. I feel better about myself. I feel better in crowds. I know people aren't looking at my horrible posture. They're looking at my better posture. And that I know the posture that I have now is even going to get more better, depending on how many more sessions that I have.
at my age and with the increase in the speed of deterioration at an older age, anything that I can do to slow that process down, to make my own physical equipment work better for me, my mental powers work better for me, I would like to take advantage of that. I think it would be time well spent, because I have just finished a session with Bob right at the present moment, and I just can't believe the results that I have received here. There's a great deal more fluidity, great deal more relaxed feeling in the whole back of my neck. I've been rubbing it since I started talking here on this little interview section, but it feels so good to just feel the back of my neck, that it is so relaxed and that I have that movement. It's almost like finding a new part of life. You just don't believe it. Bob said before the session he was going to work a miracle. Well, I don't really believe in miracles, but if this is not a miracle, if it's not magic, it's certainly something wonderful.
The people who work with Toporic are unusual. They are not only extraordinarily committed to their well-being, but each of them has agreed to participate in Toporic's research and allow him to use their photos and videotapes as a contribution to others who may be suffering from similar complaints. Toporic's clients have contributed to his projects in a variety of ways. Besides sharing their case histories, photos, and videotapes, each has paid $1,000 or more for the opportunity to work with him.
We're all concerned about our well-being, our productivity, our poor posture, our families, our babies and children. The benefits and results of gravity consultations are obvious. They're also practical. Chronic aches and pains can diminish or disappear in just a few sessions. It radically improves our posture. It immediately can reduce stress and tension. It helps even your babies and children develop into their fullest potential. So if you would like to schedule your gravity consultations, please call area code 215-735-0460 or area code 215-735-8212, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we can. Thanks for watching the show.